Now, this means intimate. No one would be that close to you. In other words, your wife or husband is the one that has the right to be this close to you, but don't take other people to be that close to you that aren't of your faith or not of your belief, and certainly not needing to know all about your personal business. And this is more or less the interpretation, I think, of the word bitana, rather than to just say friend. Because as a matter of fact, the Prophet Muhammad, peace and blessing be upon him, he used to have associates that he dealt with all the time who were not Muslims. He dealt with the Jewish people who lived in the community, and there were many, by the way, who lived in Medina, and that was the last city that he lived in. And then there were many of the mushrikeen that he dealt with, those who are idolaters. There were, of course, Christians that he dealt with. And this was not saying that you cannot have Jews and Christians as your friends. So this word bitana actually meant something intimate, so close to you, like your garments. So now we've understood the usage here of this in a couple of ways. And another thing, too, is to talk about what should I wear. And there is an important thing that a Muslim should always wear during the month of Ramadan. Now, you look at me as I'm dressed now, and you see, okay, this looks like some sheikh from maybe Medina al-Munawwara, or somebody from Mecca, maybe coming from the Arab Gulf, the Khaliji area. You say, look, he has this, mashallah, this, and so and so. But actually, what is the value of the clothes? And in fact, Allah tells us that we're supposed to have al-bir and al-taqwa. And these are the things that we should wear. These should be the garments for us, rather than to be concerned over our garments, our outer garments. We should be a lot more concerned with something else, what's inside. Now, if you look at this garment that I have right here, kind of shiny and pretty right there, isn't it? So, but what would be the value of this really, you know? It actually could be uncomfortable. If you're standing in a studio like I am and you're recording programs, this would get hot and you'd say, I'll take that thing off. And it reminds me of something I learned when I was a kid about the sun and the wind. And the sun was talking to the wind. And the sun said, I can get this guy to remove his coat. And the wind said, I can get this guy to remove his coat. And so the wind started blowing and blowing on the guy's coat and his, body, and he started pulling his coat tighter and tighter and tighter. The wind couldn't get his coat off of him. But then the sun came and lit up the whole place and got it warmer and warmer. Finally, without any effort at all from the sun, the man just took off the coat. Why? Because it became too warm. The point behind that story was, by trying to force somebody, it'll never work. But if you warm up to them and let them become comfortable, then they'll themselves cooperate and do the things that will make things work together for you. That was the point behind the story. And now I want to demonstrate something else too, that these garments that we have on don't necessarily mean we're Muslims or that we're better than somebody else. And it doesn't mean that just by wearing a garment, suddenly you have more knowledge. Now, you say, oh, that looks more like a normal person. I see a Muslim walk down the street can look like this. So could this be the dress of a Muslim? And the answer is, yeah, it could be. But then, you know what? I'm not as comfortable in that as I am in what I like to hang around the house. This, by the way, my wife made that for me. You like it? That's my Ramadan garment. You know, you get new clothes in Ramadan, at the end of Ramadan especially. There's something called Eid, but we'll be talking about that. Like this, mashallah. It's nice. All of these things really this is still not what makes the Muslim. Even this. And a lot of people, they like to wear those, but for me, you know what? I just like a nice, cool hairdo. What matters really is what's inside of you, isn't it? Isn't that the most important thing? And Allah tells us about this in the Quran. In the same chapter we've been reading out of, called Surah Baqarah, chapter 2, and it's verse 177, when Allah said, it's not al-bir, that you're turning your faces to the east, to the west. This is not what makes you righteous. It's not really what is taqwa with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. The real taqwa, the real partition between you and Allah's anger and Allah's punishment is going to be what's in your heart, your sincerity, and how you sacrifice simply for the choice of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. You make the choices according to what Allah wants. Why are you fasting in Ramadan? Because Allah ordered you to do it. You can say, well, it's good to lose weight. You can say it's good to feel like the poor people, to get some message from this, and I feel closer to Allah. But the most important reason is because Allah said in the Quran, Ya ayyuhalladhina amanu, O you who believe, kutiba alaykum as-siyam, that it has been ordered for you that you fast the month of Ramadan. So this is a good lesson for us and a good reminder. And speaking of reminders, remember our website, RamadanReminders.com. Until next time, Ramadan Mubarak.